Oh, yeah. Welcome. We're all over the place tonight, but that's okay, because here we are. Welcome to Sam Roberts Now. Happy Lonely Wednesday, everybody. Sorry for that brief snafu in time. We're just piecing things together as we go. I want to apologize profusely for the fact that I wasn't here for you on a lonely Friday night. I was legitimately walking down here, preparing, ready to go. It was time for a Lonely Friday, and that's when the phone rang, and it was, hey, dude, how quick can you be in Hershey, Pennsylvania? And I was off to SmackDown. If you missed that story at all, I told the whole thing on my wrestling podcast this week. You can go to youtube.com/NotSamWrestling for that entire story. But here to help us with tonight's stories, of course, guess who's back? Hot Dog! How are we?
A fresh-faced hot dog, looking all cute for a Wednesday lonely night.
I don't think anybody's going to notice the difference. Hot Dog.
I got a little stubble off of me.
Yes,
noticed it.
The chin pubes have disappeared, and hopefully, much to the chagrin of some of you, I do read the comments. Hopefully, the audio has been boosted significantly on the old Not Sam Tron 5000, so that there won't be any kind of low audio anything anymore.
To the chagrin of some of you.
To the chagrin. I think some people were enjoying the fact that you were coming in at a very kind of mellow tone, a very low, kind of relaxing Hot Dog. I'd be like, hey, what do you think, Hot Dog? Well, I don't know, Sam. I was thinking. You know, I think people were enjoying that for a period of time. But
it was a feature, not a bug.
Not a bug. Absolutely not a bug. I'll tell you what's not a bug. When what's not bugging me is the greatest storyline in all of social media right now is Hot Dog missing people at the Comedy Cellar. I mean, if you are not, what's your Instagram handle, Hot Dog? It's the best Instagram account on the internet right now. It's my favorite.
Tormenta263.
It's so good. Tormenta263 on Instagram. Okay, so Hot Dog, I mean, this guy is a jack off of all trades. And that's the term. He has been picking up some extra work. He's been doing some video work for young James Norton doing stand-up comedy at the Comedy Cellar. Hot Dog is going down to video some of his sets for him. And the thing about the Comedy Cellar, one of the many things that makes it such an iconic place, is that you never know who might stop in. I mean, Hot Dog, I'm sure just being in that comedy venue, you experience some of the magic. I'm sure there must be a feeling walking in, no?
I experienced a little bit of magic, not as much magic as I would have liked.
Yeah, I mean, but the feeling must be that the potential for magic is always there.
Yeah.
You definitely.
It was literally Magic Night last night at the Cellar, so magic was in the air.
Also, the night before.
No, it was not Magic Night.
Well, I mean, the night before was kind of magical as well, I think.
Yes. But last night was literally Magician's Night, so magic was in the air.
I didn't realize that they were actually. So you stayed for the magicians.
I was watching them on the screen a little bit. I said, okay, that's enough of that.
Okay, all right. And then you decided to take off and go home.
Yeah.
Wait till you hear this. Monday and Tuesday, Hot Dog is at the Comedy Cellar, right? So Monday is not Magic Night, but he is. I thought you were using it metaphorically, like the things that happen are magic. I didn't realize that there were actually magicians at the Comedy Cellar while you were there. But I'm glad you got to see them at least, because I'm following Hot Dog's Instagram stories. It's such a great way to wake up. You know, I wake up early for the radio show, got to wipe the sleep out of my eyes. I pick up my phone to see what's going on in the world so that I can kind of start to shape, like, oh, what are we going to talk about on the show this morning? And I mean, talk about being put in a good mood when I wake up in the morning. First, it was yesterday morning. It's so goddamn funny. I wake up yesterday morning and Hot Dog posts a picture, and it's Chris Rock performing at the Comedy Cellar. And I said, did my man get to see Chris Rock do his thing at the Comedy Cellar last night? Comedy Cellar is a tiny room. That's amazing to get to see an icon do what they do best. Did my man get to see? And you know what's the only thing that knowing that your buddy got to see Chris Rock? It's knowing that your buddy did not get to see Chris Rock. It's better. It's the only thing that could be better, because I read the caption and it said, Chris Rock did a surprise set at the Comedy Cellar last night, right after I left. Cry face, cry face, cry face, cry face. And I was like, oh my God, Hot Dog missed Chris Rock. You like Chris Rock? Would you have liked to have seen that?
I'll say something that makes things worse, is that I could have sworn that I overheard someone say Chris Rock before I left, but I just thought that was just like in conversation, you know, something like something Chris Rock.
Or like then one of the goofy tourists, like, I heard Chris Rock comes here, and you're like, I'm a local. I know I can go home now.
Yeah. And then he was there. And it's not the same as watching him in an arena or anything like that.
It's not even close. He's literally working on material. It's like, it's one thing to see Da Vinci present a painting. It's quite another thing to sit in the room while Da Vinci paints a painting. That's amazing. That would be like seeing the Jeen Yuhs himself, Kanye West, except not seeing him in concert. It would be like going into the studio with him. What would be better? Who's your favorite musical artist, Hot Dog?
I don't think I have.
Who do you like?
Or it'll be something niche, some Japanese composer, some bullshit.
It would be like watching the person who scored Squid Game, except instead of in concert, you got to watch them actually compose the thing in a room. It would be, and I said, I mean, I would hope for Hot Dog that this is a case of fool me once, you can't fool me again.
Can't fool me again.
But my favorite part about Hot Dog, see, I pride myself. One thing that I know I do, I make a lot of mistakes, but I really try not to make the same mistake twice. Once I learn a mistake, or once I see that I've done something wrong, I'm pretty good at learning that and not repeating it. Something that I've noticed about Hot Dog, you do not have that skill, correct?
I have the frame of thought where, like, if something bad happens or if a mistake happens, it's not necessarily let me correct course here. It's more of what are the chances that happens?
Well, here's what I'll do. I'm going to continue to do the exact same thing. No way that happens twice.
No way.
24 hours later, this morning, and this was the best because there was a little bit of anticipation. This morning, I woke up and I checked my Instagram, right? And the first thing I see is a picture of Ian Fidance, my buddy and my co-host for Sopranos Prima Volta here on the Notsam YouTube channel. And he is in a photo with both Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. And my first thought is, holy shit, what a photo. Good for you, Ian.
Must be nice, Ian.
And then I looked at the background. I looked at the room they were in, and I said, oh, I know that room. That looks like the Olive Tree. That's the restaurant right on top of the Comedy Cellar.
Yep.
And I went, oh my God. One of two things happened last night. There's two possibilities. Because I knew, because then I remembered. I said, wait a minute. On the Tuesday morning radio show, Jim said, yes, and I'm going to see young Hot Dog again tonight. And so I remembered. Hot Dog was definitely at the Comedy Cellar. And I also knew if there was no photo,
Oh, the fucking
then that
reaction.
means you missed it, because if you had gotten the opportunity to even be in the same room as Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle, because then
I would have been texting you. I would have been texting you as it was happening.
As it was happening, late 2 o'clock in the morning, I would have gotten a text. Holy shit.
Bro.
Yeah. Because then I swiped right on Ian's thing, because I thought, I was like, yeah, I'll date this guy. And I found out it was Instagram. That's not how that works. But it was the carousel, you know? And it was a picture of Dave and Chris on stage together at the same time. I go, oh my God. Like, can you imagine being lucky enough to be in the Comedy Cellar on Tuesday night, last night? And I checked Hot Dog's Instagram. I mean, he's like the Geico fisherman. Missed it again. I couldn't believe it when I realized that night 1, you missed Chris Rock, and night 2, you missed Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. And it's not going to be the same, by the way. You go like, oh, well, who knows? Tonight you're not at the Comedy Cellar, and maybe something even more iconic will happen. That's not nearly as big a deal. Like, if that happens, whatever, because you weren't there. The fact is that you had free access to the Comedy Cellar on both those nights. You decided now is a good time to leave. You said, I'm going to use all my instincts, and now is the time to leave this venue.
I was sitting on at the kids' table, because obviously I can't sit where the comics are sitting. I was sitting adjacent, you know, kind of listening to the conversation.
Honestly, tell me the truth. The way comedy is now, is the kids' table just like a giant table of videographers that are all just there to make clips? Every comedian needs somebody to make them some clips. It's just homeless pimp and his army are just all sitting at the table. Yeah.
They all think I'm like 19 years old.
Of course.
Like, no.
You go to NYU? Like,
yeah, exactly.
No, I'm 30. I could be your father.
Yeah, just chilling at the kids' table. I saw the train time. I said, "What? The train's coming in 4 minutes. I better rush on up and get out of here."
It's a subway. They come every 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, if I knew the greatest comic of all time was going to be there on Tuesday,
you mean the greatest comic of all time was going to be there with the other greatest comic of all time?
Yeah, doing a set together.
Like, yeah. Do you understand that Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle go beyond the art form, meaning that most of the people there, comedy fans, would be like, oh my God, that's so cool that you got to be there. But there isn't a human being on earth that wouldn't think it was cool if you got to be in the same room with Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, look at Ian. He was like a kid again.
He's literally a professional stand-up comedian for forever, for his entire adult life, and he's sitting there going like, hey guys, can I get a pic? Because it's that big of a deal. It's amazing. I would have done the same thing if I were him. It's amazing. Did you see the comedy?
I saw comedy. Yeah.
No. Did you see Dave and Chris perform?
Oh no. I did not, because there's no videotaping allowed. You know, I saw the photos that I could have taken because I had my camera. Oh. And I had permission to take photos, but
I forgot.
Yeah, those would have been some great photos to also have.
Here's the other thing. Hot Dog loves being a little photographer. He's like Peter Parker out there in these streets, okay? He's like Hot Dog almost became Spider-Man just so he could get the photos. When we went to a wrestling show to like tape interviews, he brings his nice camera with him to do the videoing, but it's also a still camera. And I mean, this guy was like George Napolitano out there just taking pictures of every move. I mean, you could have made a flip book with the amount of pictures.
Tagging everybody left and right. Here you go, Matt Cardona. Have at it.
He was lit. I mean, Hot Dog was the guy that was showing me the screen on his camera. Like, bro, look what I just got. Bro, look what I just got. He was zapping his photos off his camera onto his phone so he could have them right away. I forgot. Oh, you would have loved to have had the Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle photos in your portfolio.
I almost as much as I would have loved the photo with them, almost as much.
Bro, you could you could have submitted those photos to like Getty Image. I'll bet like People Magazine, Entertainment Weekly, all those spots would have wanted the pictures from you. Some
nice evergreen photos, would have been really nice.
Oh, and you would have taken really good ones too.
Oh, I just been snapping away because they're going to be there for an hour. They're not showing up to do 15-minute sets.
An hour? You'd be lucky. I mean, Dave Chappelle is notorious for going up there and doing an hour, 2 hours, 3-hour sets.
Right. Yep.
I mean, you could have just spent the evening with them and then told all the gals about it at work.
Bro, Chappelle,
you would have gotten some people would have hooked up with you just because that happened the night before.
Just because I was like, I was photographing them.
Yes,
night.
just because.
Yeah, that's what I do.
They were like, oh, you went to that comedy show, and you go like this. I was there in a professional capacity.
Yeah,
but that's
no, I didn't buy any tickets.
No, I wouldn't have bought tickets. I was there professionally. But that's the beauty of it. That like it's worse. It's so much worse that you went and left than that you weren't there at all. Like my story,
absolutely.
My story of like, I saw it on Instagram is a better story than going like, oh, I was there and I left early.
Yeah. If Chappelle showed up tonight, I would have been like, okay,
Yeah, that's fine.
That sucks.
Like, I'm not going to, I mean, that'd be silly. He showed up when you weren't at the thing. It's like, oh, okay, he's done that before.
He shows up everywhere.
Yeah.
I gotta follow the guy.
I didn't see him. I didn't have tickets to see him at Radio City either. He was there too. I mean, what do you want me to do? Yeah. But you were there.
Yeah. I won't live this one down. This one I'm gonna beat myself up for a little bit.
And the minute you do start to like let yourself off the hook, I'll remind you.
No.
I'll send you Ian's photos.
Oh, you know what made me feel better? That Ian's photo was shit. It was like blurry and whatnot. That kind of made me feel. I was trying to talk myself. He got a photo, but I mean,
it's not that
it's okay.
Good.
It's an okay.
It's an okay photo. Yeah, it's not as good as my photo with Chappelle.
No, or if I was there, my photo would have been banger. Fucking crystal clear.
You would have been like It would have been a selfie, but it would have been one of those professional photographer selfies.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Tell Jem, hey Jem, can you take this photo for me?
Oh, you could have. It would have looked so good. You could have blown it up to a poster.
That sucker would have been right there.
Oh,
I've just replaced all of those.
Yeah, would have taken the whole thing. You could have gotten a nice.
I would have replaced this one too.
You could have taken the photo, burned it, and put the ashes in an urn.
Yeah.
And really make a beautiful display.
Chappelle, Chris Rock, and me on March 1st.
All together. And then print out another version and put it right over. This is a copy of the photo that I burned.
I'll have my day.
No, you
Chris
won't.
Rock, Chris Rock is a New Yorker. He's always there. It's Dave Chappelle. Both are bummers, but I'll get them.
I don't think so.
I think I will.
I mean, it's not like it's something you've been hunting for. It was just a thing that happened.
Right. So it happened twice. So I'm guessing chances are it'll happen again.
No, you don't happen. You know what'll happen again?
What?
You'll get on the D train while they're performing. That's what'll happen again.
What's the move now? Every time I go to record for Jen, do I just stay there? Do I just linger for hours on end?
Oh, I would love that.
Maybe I'll see Louis C.K. tonight.
Right. And you're texting us going like DeRosa's up right now. And it's like, okay, cool. I mean, you're still there. Yeah. You're like wiped out every day because you keep staying late. It might happen again. It could happen. You find out that Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock did a set at the Stand. What?
God damn it.
You said this was their home club. Home. Oh, I love it. We do have to send rest in peace shout outs. Hot Dog, we lost a real one. We lost a G. We found out today that we lost Ugg. Ugg, the counselor from Salute Your Shorts, the actor who played him, Kirk Bailey, died of lung cancer. I guess his family said he was only diagnosed 6 months ago. We've already lost him, only 59 years old. And I'm going to tell you something. I was blown away when I read that Salute Your Shorts only aired 26 episodes. I couldn't believe it. I would have thought that there was like 100. I must have seen every episode of Salute Your Shorts 5 times a piece and just never realized it because that show brought me through a lot. I mean, there was a whole, and maybe it's because when you're a kid, a year seems like a lot longer than it does when you're an adult. But there was an entire era where every weekend it was Salute Your Shorts and then it was Hey Dude. And I'm going to tell you something. No disrespect to Hey Dude. I'm not a guy who hates Hey Dude. I'm a Hey Dude fan. But Salute Your Shorts is a stronger show by such a measure that I can't even begin to count. I mean, Salute Your Shorts is the show. How many characters do you really remember from Hey Dude? Like Melody, because she ended up marrying Ben Stiller. Melody was on Hey Dude, I guess. But Salute Your Shorts, you're talking about Ugg. You're talking about Donkey Lips. You're talking about Bobby Budnick, okay? And that's just the top 3 off the top of my head. Ugg was an absolute icon. He took a lot of shit from those kids, let me tell you. A lot of shit, especially Bobby Budnick. And something I didn't realize, maybe I did and I had forgotten, but I think I didn't realize it until just now, like today. His name, the character's name was not Ugg. I don't remember what his real first name was, the character's real first name was, but he had a standard real first name. And his last name was Lee. The reason they called him Ugg was because his last name was Lee. Ugg Lee. And I was like, that's brilliant. I don't think they would make a kid's show in 2022 where the camp counselor was just named Ugly. Like, I don't think so.
His name is Kevin.
Kevin Ugly. And he wasn't Asian, he wasn't anything. He was just, well, wouldn't it be funny if his name was Ugly? The kids would call him Ugly. I mean, Camp Anawana, we hold you in our hearts. And when we think about you, it makes me want to fart. Come on. I mean, this is one of those shows where you never, ever skip the intro. If the skip the intro button had been around when Salute Your Shorts was at its high peak, that button would have never been touched. I think that the Salute Your Shorts intro rivals the Succession intro for the greatest TV songs. It's Succession, it's Woke Up This Morning, Sopranos, it's Salute Your Shorts, and not in that order. I feel like the foundation for that show has slipped through our fingers. I mean, I guess when Donkey Lips goes, it's going to be a tough one. Bobby Budnick is going to be tough, but Bobby Budnick also played Sam on Different Strokes. He was the white kid that moved in with the Drummonds on the later seasons, you know, when Gary Coleman was still small, except he had like a goatee, so they couldn't pretend he was like tiny little Arnold anymore. So they had to bring in a new cute kid, and he was Sam. So that's why I feel like when Bobby Budnick passes, it'll be like he was Budnick, but you might remember him as Sam from Different Strokes. But for me, they were listing this guy's other credits, and God bless him. I'm sure they were fantastic. But there's just something about Ugg that there is an entire generation of people who the minute you say, I swear to God, I mean, I was literally getting texts. I tweeted out because I saw this thing. I said, no, this can't be true. And I went to my source. I went to TMZ and confirmed this. I said,
the source number one for all the celebrity deaths.
100% TMZ. And I confirmed it at TMZ. I tweeted it. I was literally, not only have I been getting tweets all day, I was literally getting text messages. Like text messages from, by the way, from notable people who said, WTF, bro. Like, that can't be true. They can't have taken Ugg from us. Not a real one like Ugg. I said, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. That's not why I came on Twitter today. But it's true. Hot Dog, you were not of the Camp Anawana generation?
No, I looked up when it aired. It was before my time, 91 to 92, which, yeah, it was only one season.
26 episodes.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. You know, it's really good. I mean, I haven't seen it, but a show can hit a generation like that, and it only had 20, like, you know, one season.
Yeah,
I believe you.
I mean, but I guess it says 91, 92. I didn't watch it in 91, 92. I was in the UK in 91, 92. So I would have watched it in probably 95. And maybe they just ran the episodes. Like, I believe you when you tell me 91, 92. And maybe they might have just ran those episodes into the ground. But yeah, dude, I mean, it was Nickelodeon, and that was the weekend lineup, right? It was like, so you'd watch your Saturday morning cartoons when you were a kid, but you got a little older. And NBC put on the live action shows on Saturday morning, right? NBC put on Saved by the Bell, The New Class. They put on City Guys, CITY, You Can See Why These Guys, The New Guys, Smart and Streetwise, something like that. The City Guys. Roll with the City Guys. Just, it was like Saved by the Bell, but it was in New York City. It was cool. They had a basketball court on the roof of the school because it was New York City, and they were urban kids. Cool. It wasn't just white California kids. It was urban kids. It was awesome. And then there was California Dreams. That was a big one. So NBC had that lineup, right? But, by the time lunchtime rolled through, like that would take you through lunchtime. You had your cartoons, you had your NBC lineup. That was late. It was like 10.
Take you up until 11.
Well, that's right. NBC took you to 11, and then Superstars of Wrestling came on Fox. So that would take you to lunchtime. But after lunch on a Saturday, you were fucked unless you had Nickelodeon. And then you would turn on Nickelodeon, and just all afternoon, basically until Snick, it would be episodes of Hey Dude and episodes of Salute Your Shorts. And honestly, even the biggest Hey Dude fans were really just sitting through Hey Dude because they knew Salute Your Shorts would probably be on next. I tributed him. R.I.P. to the legend, Ugg. And this was his line, right? They go, they would sing the Camp Anawana song. Camp Anawana, we hold you in our hearts. And when we think about you... And then Bobby Budnick said, it makes me want to fart. And everybody was like laughing. And then Ugg turned around with the sunscreen on his nose. And he said, it's I hope we never part. Now get it right or pay the price. Everybody remembers that shit. Everybody. I mean, if you don't remember that, everybody remembers that shit. So I tweeted it out. R.I.P. to the legend, Ugg. Get it right if pay the price. Rest in power, King. It's a perfect tweet, except it says, get it right if pay the price. If, instead of, I don't, get it right if pay the price? What am I, an idiot? And I can't go back, right? Because by the time I noticed it, there's 400 likes on it. Like, I can't delete it and then repost it.
And they're going to be like, what the fuck? Is he just posting it twice to get more attention?
Exactly. At that point, it's like, I'm fucked. And so I go, okay, I'll just leave it up. Maybe nobody will be classless enough to point it out. Or if they do, here's what I thought. The only people classless enough to point out the fact that I fucked up would be somebody with 0 followers. Nobody will notice. You know who pointed it out?
Who?
The voice of Monday Night Raw, Corey Graves. Like, I need that.
Oh, cool.
Like, I need that.
I guess.
like I need that. Corey Graves is over here haunting me on Twitter. Like, I need that. Okay, I know.
Corey Graves is your Twitter bully.
Of course, he tells me everybody hates me all the time. He's so negative. He's so negative. Like, now I know how Byron Saxton feels. Like, I'm sure he can't stand him. Corey Graves is a negative, toxic guy, okay? And I can't stand him.
Shoving you into the virtual locker.
I know, and he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy. And I can't stand him. And the internet's right about him, by the way. He is a bully. And he is the reason for most of the things you don't like on wrestling happening. It's him. Trust me. I've been there. I've seen it. Everybody's great except him. Okay? And I responded to him. I understand that it's or. I don't think that the song goes, get it right if pay the price. Nobody's ever said the sentence, get it right if pay the price. But as I pointed out to Corey Graves, Twitter does not have a goddamn edit button for some reason. They can figure out. I mean, what? They do spaces. Nobody is asking for spaces. They gave spaces. They figured out how to put a tip jar on your Twitter page. Who's leaving tips? It's like a tip jar for what? It should be called a simp jar because it's the only people that leave tips are the simps. It's either click my Amazon wish list or leave me something in my tip jar. They figure that out, but they won't give me an edit button so I don't look like an asshole when I'm trying to memorialize Ugg, one of the top characters of all time. It's tough. Hey,
man, it's like a book publication. Just make sure you got it right the first time. Sorry to tell you. There's no edit button on that.
And then people are tweeting going like, you don't even proofread your memorial tweets. Can I go?
Yeah. What are you rushing it out for, Sam?
Bro,
you trying to get that karma?
I'm not a dork, okay? I don't proofread anything. I mean, it used to drive my dad crazy. It would drive him crazy because my dad, for a period of time, actually worked as a copywriter. Like, this is what he did. He worked as a copywriter. And when I was a kid, he would stay on my ass. He'd go, okay, like he'd know all the homework assignments. And if I even tried to lie to him, he would find out. He would find out, and I would have gotten a whooping if I was lying about my homework assignments. So he knew. He knew when I had papers due. He knew everything.
No homework tonight.
Yeah.
Teachers didn't give me any.
And that would never. He'd be like, "That's not a thing." I go, "Oh, yeah." He go like, "You haven't done a paper in like a month. When is your next paper due?" It wouldn't be like, "Why not?" He'd go, "When is?" Because he'd know. And so he'd always know. So I'd print out my essays. And he would just give them back to me with red ink all over them, even if I didn't ask, because I didn't proofread anything. I was so lazy as a kid, I will never forget. I talk about not making the same mistake twice. This is how lazy I was. I typed up a paper, right? I had a paper due the next day. So, of course, I didn't think about it until the last day. I type up my paper, and then I just click print it out, right? And then I hit X, and they were like, "Do you want to save it?" And I was like, "Nope." And I just clicked no, because
I was so short-sighted.
I know. I just clicked no. I don't even know why I clicked no. It was like if I click yes, it's gonna ask what the name of the file is, and I am not writing another letter. So
fuck that.
Yeah, no. And so literally, I didn't even give it to my dad. I printed it out, and I just put it on the table next to where I would put my lunch, so I would remember to put it in my bag in the morning. Went upstairs, took a shower or something, came back downstairs, 2 hours later or whatever. Red ink is all over it.
We had the time.
Red ink's all over it.
We had the time. Yeah.
And then my dad
messed up your only copy.
Yeah. And my dad was like, I made some corrections. I figured that would be helpful. And I couldn't tell him. It's not helpful because I'm too lazy to save it. So I was just like, you know what I said? "Oh, okay, thanks." And I went upstairs. I had to retype the whole paper. But no.
Sam, what you should have done was you should have just submitted that paper in with the corrections.
Read the corrections.
And I ran out of ink, so I had to make the corrections with a pen.
Yeah. Yeah. So no. So I don't proofread my memorial tweets. Okay. I was hoping the sentiment would push through. I was hoping that people would be so upset that we lost UGG that they wouldn't have time to be dickheads on Twitter about grammar. But apparently, even the loss of an icon is not
distracting.
enough.
It's so distracting because it's a good tweet. I'm looking at it, great tweet, but it would have been perfect if not for that one simple, very avoidable mistake. I mean, it's super distracting.
It is super, yeah. And it would have been a perfect tweet. And I had a great tweet last night during the fucking State of the Union thing. I was one of the early adopters of the Schumer stands up and claps.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Did you see my tweet about it? It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was a good tweet, right?
Yeah.
And I followed it. This is how I follow it up.
Yeah.
This is why I can't gain any traction, Hot Dog.
No. Any followers you would have gotten went right out the window.
And the followers I got on Friday from being on SmackDown, they were like, "I'm not following this account anymore."
Okay.
This guy's
pay the price.
Get it right. If pay the price. Nobody would ever even say that. It didn't make any sense. This guy even watch Salute Your Shorts? I did.
This guy's probably just clout chasing.
They probably thought I was, but I'm not. I'm not. Clearly, you can feel the reverence I have for UGG. I tell you, did you have shows when you were growing up that would anger you? Like some people, I was talking to somebody today that was like, I can't tell you why, but I hated Hey Dude with like a vengeance. Like I got viscerally angry when Hey Dude came on. And I was like, hey, you're hating on Hey Dude? I don't think so. Hey Dude was good with me. I loved Snick. That was we've talked about this before, but all that and Secret World of Alex Mack and Are You Afraid of the Dark and Clarissa Explains It All those shows were the shit. Mm-hmm. There was one Nickelodeon show that as a kid, I swear it would make me want to burn down the house. I was so mad it was on. Because here's the thing, like back then, like it wasn't like there were no streaming services, no YouTube. It was like what's on is on. And especially if you're a kid, it was even before Cartoon Network. So it was like you're not going to turn the channel over to like a news station or a sports station. You're watching your kids' shows. And
so you're going to watch golf after this? That's what they usually played after all that crap. So,
yeah, and so you're watching Nickelodeon going like, this is my savior. But there was one show, and so you go on a run, right? The best you could ever do. It happens now. Here's when it happens now. When I'm traveling, and I turn on CNBC, because there's a nice Shark Tank marathon on.
Ooh.
I go, perfect. And I get under the covers, and I put my hands behind my head. No wife, no children. I can watch hours of Shark Tank. 15 minutes, credits roll. I go, no problem. Another one is coming right up. And then I realize we're in a different time zone, so the marathons change at a different time, and an infomercial comes on. Furious. I get furious. The only thing I can compare it to is as a child, I would be watching my Nickelodeon, and we'd be going on a great run. And then all of a sudden, David the Gnome would come on. And that theme song would hit. Look around you. There are many things to see. And I go, I'm going to kill someone. You got to be fucking kidding me. David the Gnome right now. David the Gnome. We started with Eureka's Castle, but we went on a nice run. It was a nice arc. And it would happen on a sick day because Nickelodeon would do this during the week. You were homesick, getting to see all the shows that you never get to see because you're at stupid school. And it was awesome. And it was just good cartoon, good cartoon, good cartoon. And you're like, oh, I can't wait to see what's next. And it would be like 11 or 11:30. And they go, look around you. And I'd go, no, no. You got to be kidding me. I'm going to tell you right now. I would meet people growing up. This conversation doesn't happen as much anymore because now we're all old. But like 10 years ago, I'd meet like, other young adults that were still talking about their kids' stuff. Some of us still do. And they'd go, you know what show I used to love? I go, what? They go, David the Gnome. I go, you need to get the fuck out of my house right now. Get out. I don't want to talk to you about this or anything. What are you talking about? Yeah, I mean, no. I don't want your presence. I don't want your energy in my life if you liked David the Gnome. At all. At all. Oh. And that song, it never left my head. Look around you. There are many things to see. Does that sound
like such a great song to play for your funeral?
Hot dog, if you play that at my funeral, I swear to God, I will haunt you for generations. Which might be
my
tough.
last words to you.
I don't know if I'll be able to haunt you for generations because I can't see you producing a child with a woman. But
But that's a fair point.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to make it a goal of mine to make sure you conceive with a woman. Because I need for there to be generations of hot dogs. Just in case you try to fuck with me on some David the Gnome bullshit at my funeral. So that I can haunt you for generations.
I go to pay my respects. If it's a open casket or whatever be it, and I'll just like stand over you.
Honestly, can I tell you the truth?
Look around. Yeah.
I would rather you piss on my corpse. I would rather you piss on my corpse in front of my family, in front of my children who I hope at that point will be grown. I would rather you take out that hot dog hammer and piss on my corpse than you play David the Gnome theme song at my funeral.
Okay,
Don't do it. Don't do it. Because I'll come back and I will haunt you and you will say it was just a bit. It was just a bit. And I go, no, it wasn't. I told you don't do it. Don't do it, hot dog.
This hatred runs deep.
I got so mad every time that show came on. All the good shows were done. And then I go like this. I'd eat my lunch. It was a sick day. I go, Mom, can I play Sega Genesis? And she'd go, no, not on a sick day, because I wasn't allowed to play video games if I was homesick.
What?
Because if I'm sick, I'm sick. You can't be sitting around playing video games. They wouldn't let me play.
Says who? What do you need? Your energy to play? To recover? You can't sit and just press some buttons like this.
It was the thing, because they were like, he's gonna stay home just to play Sega Genesis, and I would.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
So they said that was the rule in my house. You can't play Sega Genesis if you're sick. We could only play Sega Genesis until we couldn't play it until it was the time that we would have gotten home from school. So if you were homesick from school, you couldn't play Sega Genesis until 3:30. And so if David the Gnome came on at 11:30 or 11, I was fucked until 3:30. And that's a long ass haul.
Okay, that's not as bad. I wasn't allowed to play video games on the weekdays. That's
caca. That's nonsense.
It's bullshit.
That's not cool.
No, I have to sneak it in.
Yeah, you do. So rest in peace to Ugg. Rest in peace to my man Ugg. Deuces up. This one's for you, big man. By the way, speaking of great memes at the State of the Union, who better than this guy, huh?
Army veteran.
Who better than Justice Breyer?
Scholar, retiring Justice of the United States Supreme Court.
Who better? Look
Justice
at this guy's
Breyer,
reaction.
Thank you for your service. Thank you.
Look at this guy. Is this not the most wholesome thing you've ever seen in your life?
Get up, stand up.
Look at him. Oh, yes. No, me. Come on. Stop it. That is adorable.
What a sweet old. Aw, what a sweet old man. That's the first time seeing it. I just gushed watching that.
This is your first time seeing this?
Yeah, that was adorable.
Is nominating someone to serve.
I mean, that's a forever meme, and it's for all the best reasons, you know? What a great dude. And I'll tell you what right now. I think I know, now that he's no longer going to be on the Supreme Court, I think I have a pretty good idea of what old Justice Breyer is going to be doing with himself, okay? And my gut tells me that Justice Breyer is going to be helping himself to some Blue Chew. I think if anybody deserves some Blue Chew, it's him. Let me tell you about Blue Chew, okay? Blue Chew is going to give you the confidence of a Supreme Court justice, okay? Because when it comes to you and your partner, you are going to rule the land. Because your partner's going to know, oh my God, can my guy deliver? My man can deliver the goods, okay? Look, it's a lot. Your partner's sitting there going like, are you seriously watching Sam Roberts Now again? That's ridiculous. And you tell your partner, you don't need to worry about what I'm watching, because you know that whenever you need it, at the drop of a dime, I will be able to deliver where it counts. I'll be able to deliver in the bedroom. And that's what Blue Chew does anytime, day or night. And that's because Blue Chew, you see, is a chewable. Yes, Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. Not only that, but because they're chewable, they're going to work right away, and there's no awkwardness, okay? You don't need to go to the doctor and have a conversation with the doctor. You don't need to go to the pharmacy and wait in line. You know, hot dogs over at the Comedy Cellar, people are talking about Chris Rock. You know what happens when you go to the pharmacy and you're like, yes, I'd like my boner pills? People talk, especially at
what?
Exactly.
What was that?
Come on, and at the neighborhood pharmacy, you don't want your neighbors finding out. By the way, you don't want your mailman finding out either. That's no problem, because they ship in a discreet package. Your mailman won't even know what he's dropping off, but you know who will know what you're dropping off? Your partner. Oh, hell yes. It's all done online. All you do is sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you receive your prescription within days. Yeah. Come on. And I'll tell you what, because I respect Justice Breyer so much and his wholesome reaction, this one's on me, Judge, and that goes for any of you watching. You know what's a good price for Blue Chew? I mean, pretty much anything, the way it'll change your life, but I'll give it to you for free. That's right, you can try Blue Chew for free. all you need to do is pay $5 shipping. You go to BlueChew.com and you use promo code NOTSAM. You put NOTSAM in the promo code at checkout, and your Blue Chew is going to be free. You're just going to have to pay the $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code NOTSAM to receive your first month for free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information, of course. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring Sam Roberts Now. You look into that, hot dog?
First month for free got me blushing a little bit.
I mean, you're not going to be the only one blushing after this. Trust me when I tell you, hot dog. I'll tell you what, I did get a chance to finish up. I'm only through part 1 so far of Jeen Yuhs. Have you been watching Jeen Yuhs on Netflix? Jeen Yuhs is, of course, the Kanye. Oh, we got to play that Wheel of Fortune clip maybe on Friday. But Jeen Yuhs is the Kanye West documentary that Netflix has done. I believe it's going to be told over 3 parts. This is for part 1. I am loving it. What the way they got it done basically was that Cootie, you know Cootie, right, hot dog? Cootie?
I do now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, because a quarter of the documentary is about Cootie. But but yeah, so Cootie, he was hosting like a public access hip-hop show in Chicago, and he was putting a lot of hip-hop artists on and stuff like that. And locally, he became really well known because at the time, a lot of hip-hop artists were not getting the exposure that they really deserved. It was still, you know, kind of whatever, a subgenre. And Cootie was putting a lot of people on, and he met Kanye West out there in Chicago. And everybody's talking about Kanye West. And this is when Kanye is just he's a producer. He's an aspiring rapper at this point. And he's a producer that's just starting to get put on, right? And whatever, they're talking, and Cootie really he's intrigued by this Kanye West fellow. He thinks that there's a lot there with Kanye. And so when he really realizes that he's got to stop, drop, and roll on this, because Cootie was an aspiring comedian. Cootie was doing his TV show. Cootie had a lot of hopes and dreams. But he dropped them all when Kanye basically produced most of the songs on Jay-Z's album, The Blueprint. Jay-Z's album, The Blueprint, is still, to me, and maybe it's just I'm of the generation, but it's not an untouchable hip-hop album. It's an untouchable album. The Blueprint by Jay-Z, I mean, it might be my favorite album of any genre of all time. It is incredible. And one of the things that makes it incredible is that Kanye West, who was only starting to become known at that point, produces most of the songs. He creates most of the beats, most of the instrumentals on the album are Kanye West beats. H to the Izzo, we all know H to the Izzo, V to the Izzy. Sheezy Mine Easy. That's a Kanye West beat, hot dog. People didn't know that at the time. With the Jackson 5 sample and everything in it, that's a Kanye West beat. There's so many Kanye beats on there. But Kanye was still not really being taken seriously as a rapper. Now, you can watch in the documentary, and he had this vision, right? And it's so interesting when you're watching somebody with a vision who's like pushing against a wall, because that's what Kanye is doing. He's pushing against a wall. And it's really interesting because we see Kanye still being that Kanye. Like, no matter what he achieves, he's still got this other idea that people are like, whatever. Like, to this day. Like, he comes out with that stem player, right? And people are like, whatever. But honestly, hot dog, I've been looking into the stem player a little bit more. It's actually kind of cool.
You changed tunes since last week? We talked about this last week, how ridiculous it was.
Because I was just an ignorant fool. I was one of the masses. I wasn't paying attention to what was really going on. I was
8 gigabytes.
It doesn't have enough space on it. It needs more space on it. It does. But literally, you can sit there and take out elements of you can remix his album yourself.
Yes.
Just sitting there.
It is the Pro Tools file.
But you can actually do Pro Tools on it. In your pocket.
Yeah. I'm not sold on it.
Whatever. Stem player be damned. Here's why I looked at it differently. Because you're watching this guy in probably 2001 is when it must have been. 2001, 2002. Mm-hmm. And he's sitting there and he's telling all these people, I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to be a rapper. And people are like, yeah, definitely, dude. Definitely. And it's like everybody is being so condescending to him.
Like they were talking to a child. Oh, yeah, sure.
100%. 100%. And like clearly just being nice to him because and you see it in so many of the scenes. Like he's like, I'm going to be a rapper. They're like, oh, spit a verse. And they're like, oh, that's hot. That's hot. Yo, can I get that beat, by the way? And Kanye, like, the spirit is just drained from his face. It's soul-sucking. And he just goes, yeah. And he knows they're not taking him seriously. They're just trying to get beats from him. But he's got to give him the beats, and he does give him the beats. But, like, he's got to sit there, and he's like, he's got to take his retainer out. You see the scene where he's playing Family Business for Scarface? And they're in the studio, and Scarface is like, the fuck is that? And Kanye's like, oh, that's my retainer, dog. And he's like, you got that shit in your mouth? It's sitting right there. Like he's so grossed out by the fact that Kanye had to put his retainer.
It is gross.
Of course it's gross. His retainer is a star of the show. But my point is, I mean, he has this scene. It's this beautiful scene where because any of us that have had a dream, that have fought for that dream, maybe we haven't been so outward as Kanye has, but what Kanye expresses is a feeling that we've all had. Kanye is like Sam Roberts running around Sirius, trying to convince people to put him on the air, is Kanye at Rockefeller Records in 2002. I literally had a meeting with a program director at Sirius and said, this is before Notsam Wrestling. This is before the wrestling podcast. I said, what if I just did a show where I interviewed wrestlers? And they were like, a whole show about wrestling? Sam, come on. Like, ridiculous. You understand? So, like, there's something about where you're like, I've been that guy who has that dream that just knows. Just give me a chance. Let me do this. And everybody around you is just not even saying no. They're just like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, just demeaning, dehumanizing. He shows up. He's playing All Falls Down. All Falls Down is an incredible song. And he's sitting there, and he's putting it on the boombox so that these executive assistants, because he can't even get a meeting with the executive assistants are just listening, and they're literally laughing at him as he puts All Falls Down on the boombox. And he's going, man, I promise. She's so self-conscious and, like, couldn't afford a car, so she named her daughter Alexis. And they're like, okay, I got it. Wordplay. And it's like, he's right. This is a single. This is going to push the genre forward. This is going to change music. And they're like, okay, Kanye. And it's amazing to literally be able to watch this process. And that's why when you sit there and look at Kanye now and he goes, you can't tell me nothing, I'd be like, I wouldn't be listening to anybody either. Because you know what happened? If he had listened to people, all the stuff that he knew was right, he wouldn't have done. And
the same condescending tone that he heard back then, he hears now.
And so it's like, why would he listen to it? Why would he take advice? Because the advice he got was bad. All of it was bad. He's sitting there. He's playing Jesus Walks for Scarface. And Scarface is like, okay, cool. It's Jesus Walks. You know? And then, I mean, this guy, he tries so hard to get a record deal. The A&R guy's like, I like you. No, I couldn't convince him. No, I couldn't. Nobody is giving him a record deal. He produced the whole blueprint.
You don't think that's enough?
Dude, I thought I feel like by the way, he did more for the blueprint than like you do for me, Hot Dog. And and like, I feel like I'm like, yo, Hot Dog is my dude. I'm going to ride with that dude because he's done something for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
like he's at least like, he's a good dude. Like he's been my guy. And then I'm watching here And like you could see it in Kanye's eyes. Like he's got no relationship at all with Jay-Z. I feel like if somebody gave me all the instrumentals for the Blueprint, I'd be like, yo, dude, you are my fucking guy forever. Forever. Like, you're my guy. And, like, it's literally 6 months after the Blueprint came out, and he's, like, not allowed to make eye contact with Jay-Z.
He's at the Rockefeller party. And
hey, it's me.
He just got, like, a nod.
I know. It's me, Kanye. You know, it's me, Kanye. Beyonce doesn't even look at him. You kidding me? What happens when you come over? Jess is like, oh, Shay, I'm so happy you're here. I go, don't call him Shay. Do not humanize him, okay? It's not going to work.
Not in front of the kids.
Yeah, no. No, you can't give him a sense of identity. Otherwise, the cult will never take off, Jess. What are you doing? He's sitting there like, you know, all like a chihuahua, like a shaken chihuahua. And I'm like, this guy did everything. And then at the end of part 1, when they do the press conference to announce the new people at Rockefeller Records, and it's like, yo, here's Beanie Siegel. Here's Freeway. Like, here's all these guys. Kanye's not even sitting at the table. Kanye's backstage. And he's, like, trying to talk to the cameras. Like, yeah, I'm a producer, but I'm a rapper, too. And everybody's like he's talking to, like, the Sam Roberts of the early days, like the kid who brought his own camera because all the real outlets are talking to the other quote unquote real rappers. And it's like, dude, this is the Jeen Yuhs. And he's not getting the time of day. It's so crazy to watch. You see him buy that porn in New York City?
No, I saw the whole thing. I must have missed that part.
Oh, it's so funny. He's like, you might have to turn that camera off. I got an addiction. And he buys an issue. He buys an issue of Blacktail magazine from a newsstand in New York City.
Nice.
And they're like, okay, that'll be $8. And he goes, $8? But he still gets his Blacktail magazine.
Yeah, you really see, like, I feel like the notion has been like Kanye's gone off the deep end.
No, dude. No. And by the way, Donda is great. The person and the album. I mean, but you see, like, this mom of his, Donda, what a woman. What an amazing woman. She sits there, and not only is she instilling confidence in her son, but she is taking a direct interest in what he's doing. Like, she's got favorite verses. Like, Kanye can, and this is before Kanye's got any albums. He's just spitting verses in the house. Mm-hmm. And his mom is like, that's a good verse. I didn't like that verse so much, but this one is really good. And like, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Like, she's pushing this kid to be like, she's like a college professor or something like that. She's like a woman. Teacher. Yeah, she comes from English. She comes from education. And she sees that her son is going to be this artist, and it's just pushing him. Not even and not in a toxic way, just in a like, you're doing this, baby. You're doing great. And it's like, bro, by the way, that support system. I mean, that's the only thing. Like, without his mom around, I do worry about him sometimes these days. Mm-hmm. Because that is a very valuable support system. But I mean,
the energy just radiated off her. It's just warm and
incredible. I mean, everybody would be lucky to have Donda West as a mom. She's incredible. But like, you can't not watch this doc and go like, yeah, I mean, this is everything that happened to Kanye is everything that's wrong with the industry. All the gatekeeping, all the people that weren't taking him seriously, all the people that weren't listening. It's like, dude, it was right there. It was literally available to everyone. And everyone said, that guy's a fucking dork. Like,
I mean, it was, 2000, 2001 when the scene was, you got to portray like a tough image, and be from the street and all that stuff.
It's a little heavy on Cootie.
Oh, very self-indulgent. Very.
He's like, by the way, let me tell you about my mom too. I'm like, I mean, I guess for context, but I don't know if you need to. Yeah. Like, I kind of feel like when they put out the Beatles documentary, imagine if Peter Jackson was like, then I found this footage. And I'd be like, Get out of here, Peter. I want to hear what Paul has to say. Like, what are you doing?
I found this videotape of Kanye in 2003.
Now, I know you're wondering why I dropped everything. I know you dropped everything, Cootie. I heard you. Respect to you. You got.
Yeah, it was a good 5 minutes of that. Good 5 minutes, and at the time, Kanye moved to New York City, and I dropped my whole career to go follow him.
He mentions it like 6 times throughout. And respect to Cootie. He did a great job. And he did a great thing, and he had a great vision. He was right on the money. But you could just show that in your work. You don't have to tell me. You know? Oh. So, yeah, I mean, I think it really does, part 1 anyway, and maybe we'll do more reviews on part 2 and part 3, but it gives a pretty amazing insight to Kanye Titta. And there was a great video that came out where Kanye was explaining that, like, because I think most Kanye fans, which I've been one, forever. I tried to sell you on the Close on a Sunday, but most Kanye fans will say, like, Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is the best album. That's the album he came out with a year after the Taylor Swift VMA thing. And that's the one that has, like, Power. That's the one that has Monster. That's the one that has Runaway. That's the like. There's just, I mean, but like Power. No one man could have all that power. Yeah. So he did a clip of this interview came out. I retweeted it at Notsam, and he was basically explaining that Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is not his best album in his opinion because it's his most digestible album. That album is basically an apology because everybody hated him. And so what he did was he went back and he studied what everybody likes about him. And he created an album that has like All of the Lights is on that album. It's like all the stuff that everybody likes about me. That's what I'm going to put out on this album. So this album is not me. This album is for you. That's brilliant because what's the favorite album of everybody? Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Like, that's the album and you're like, holy shit. And it is. It is the easiest one. It is the one that you put on immediately and you just go, yep, that's great. Like, 808s and Heartbreaks, to me, might be my favorite Kanye album just because it's so outside the box. And at the time, people were like, what the fuck is this? But, like, it literally, like, there's no Drake, there's no Childish Gambino, there's no Weeknd, there's no none of that stuff with that 808s, in my opinion. And then you keep going, and you see that, like, after Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, he's still, like, when he puts albums out, he attempts to push music and hip-hop forward and go in a different direction and see what the future is going to look like. And way more often than not, he's on the money. Pablo, amazing. 808s, amazing. There's good stuff on Yeezus. Not amazing, but Yeezus. Ye is amazing. I mean, watch The Throne. Watch The Throne. We're going to skate to one song and one song only. But yeah, just amazing. All right.
I saw episode 2, and it's just as good as the first, by the way. So it keeps its momentum.
So am I going to have to do another thing on Sam Roberts now, or I just guffaw over part 2 now?
Yeah, let's say, 2 and 3, and then you can do a nice little
wrap up.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap this thing up. Of course, the only rule of Sam Roberts now is that every super chat gets read. So get those super chats in. If there's something that you want to contribute to the show, every super chat gets acknowledged. So jump on here and super chat what you wanted in. If you're sitting here dissing Kanye West or coming at me with a Kanye West opinion that's contrary to what I've said, I ain't reading it unless it's a super chat. So how do you like that? Because wait till I get my money, right? Then you can't tell me nothing, right? See?
Good thing you didn't mess up a word in there.
Are you bringing it back to the tweet?
Yeah.
You bookending son of a bitch. Well, let's get... And by the way, hit like. I'm looking at these likes, and like, there's enough of you that haven't hit like yet. You should be hitting like. Eventually, I'm gonna figure out how to put the thanks button on my YouTube videos, and you could drop super chats in there too.
Nice.
Not Sam Grim Reaper. Seeing Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock together is like seeing two Haley's Comets. It will never, ever happen again. I would agree with Grim Reaper. That will never, ever happen again.
Words of encouragement.
It has happened before, multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
But it will never happen again. Dave Putnam watched the first hour of Scream 5, and I was so disappointed in the acting and the new characters. Please tell me the end is worth me rewatching. First of all, I did a review of Scream 5. It's an incredible movie. It's at least the third best out of 5, and maybe the second best out of 5. It is very good, and I value the opinion of somebody who watches half a movie 0.
Yeah, what are you doing? You're already an hour in.
I mean,
finish it.
Especially if you're watching at home, you're probably watching illegally. That's very, very bad. Go to a movie theater and watch it. But yeah, I mean, when people are like, that movie sucked, I didn't even watch the whole thing, I go, you have no idea what you're talking about. None. JD Straight Shot, Brendan Schaub, greatest joke borrower of all time or super beta man? Boy, there's a lot of internet criticism about Brendan Schaub, huh? Are you down with that?
Is he stealing jokes?
I mean, everywhere. I feel like everywhere I turn, people are talking shit about Brendan Schaub. It's crazy.
Yeah, look into this.
It is a rabbit hole. Poor Brendan Schaub. It's crazy in the streets for him right now. And I don't even know if he deserves it. I really don't know much about him. I don't know that I've ever met him.
I met him one time.
How was it?
It was a UFC show in Jersey, and he was walking in front of me with his girlfriend. Me and my friend go, "Hey, that's Brendan Schaub." I go, "Do you want a photo with him?" And he goes, "No." And then Brendan Schaub turns around and he goes, "Come on, man."
Well, yeah, he's right on that. I'll take Brendan Schaub's side on that. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. And I like that Brendan Schaub turned around and acknowledged it. Okay, that's
great.
1 point for Brendan then. That's a nice interaction. JD Straight Shot, are we buying the Russian dip? Ride it to 1 cent. Bitcoin's not down, is it? I thought we went up. Don't ruin my night.
No.
Don't ruin my night. I thought we went up. I made some money over the weekend. Till he super chats in, Salute Your Shorts should be available on all streaming platforms. Every streaming platform, 100%. It's not a streaming platform if it doesn't have Salute Your Shorts. All right, guys. I want you all to have a great night. I want you all to make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn your alerts on. Got new content coming out all the time. We will be back live here on Friday, unless your boy gets called to SmackDown. We'll be back here. Who knows? We'll be back live on Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, like normal. Turn a little alert on your calendar. And remember, I'm going to cheers with you later. Have a good one, everybody.